Hello, hello! This is Pop Rocks bringing you another Okami trick tutorial. Today we're going to be going over Waka Skip. Waka Skip is a brush adventure that is done right after blooming the Guardian Sapling in Agata Forest, and it skips the first fight with Waka, which saves getting a Steel Fist Sake and drawing a bunch of cherry bombs and all that good stuff. So we're just going to start at the beginning. I'm going to go over how I do this trick, which may or may not be how everybody does this trick, and may not even be the best way to do the trick. But it is a trick that has a lot of ways it can go wrong, and this is what I do, and it works really, really well for me. So first thing is first, the very first way you can go wrong with this trick is immediately after you bloom the Guardian Sapling, like here. You're going to want to tackle and start moving. If you move and then tackle, you'll hit the beads, yeah? You really don't want to do that. Look how slow it is. I can't even skip this. This is a disaster, right? So the way that you want to do this, to avoid that from happening, is right after you load from the Guardian Sapling, you're going to press tackle while your control stick is neutral, yeah? So you press tackle and then you'll start moving and you will never bonk into the thing. I do have input viewer here to assist in making this a little bit easier to see, so make sure to use that as a reference if anything isn't clear. So we're tackling and we're going to the left. Where I like to stand here, it's going to be this section of the wall here. I don't know, there's like an H here, there's something, and I'm going to be standing basically right at the tip of the rock here, and the way I think about it is I'm looking at kind of the space between these cracks here. So first things first, we're in inner camera, not outer camera, inner camera. We're standing here looking at kind of the gap in the crack. We're going to put our camera all the way up, holding fast brush, and then I will brush. I drag all the way down, control stick to neutral, rebrush, and go down again. And we are now clipped out of bounds. So this isn't the only way to clip out of bounds doing a brush adventure, but it works really well. If you don't clip out of bounds on the second one, just rebrush and try again. If you don't get it within like 4 tries, just, I don't know, move slightly, reposition, try again. But you should be able to basically just go into the spot, tilt your camera all the way up, brush down, neutral, brush down, and now you're clipped out of bounds and you're ready to go on to the next part. So from here, this section of the trick in actual runs, I'll do it very quickly, but I'll try to slow it down and go part by part. So the first thing is here, I'm holding down already, and I'm going to start tilting my control or my camera up so I get under the ground more, yeah? You can see I'm now substantially more under the ground. So I'll just do that again really quickly just to show. Going down, and then now I'm tilting and going under the ground here. I'll look maybe slightly up to get a little bit more under the ground. From here, what I do is I'm going to be looking basically towards where Waka 1 is. If you see kind of the entrance of the cave, I'm kind of looking towards like the center of Agata Forest. I like to rebrush, and then I'm going to go straight right. And basically what we're doing here is I'm trying to go from under the floor, and I want to get into the out of bounds area. Like there's nothing over where I am, I'm basically like behind the wall here, and that's where you want to get your camera. So we'll do it quickly here. I'm kind of going down, I'm tilting up, I'm going to the right, rebrushing, and going to the right. And now I'm like way out of bounds, and this is going to be ideal for doing the trick. There's a common problem that you can get. I'll see if I can demonstrate it here doing this trick, where like sometimes you'll snap back in bounds like this. The way it happened there was kind of forced, but sometimes it can happen at times where you really don't expect it. So the closer that you're able to follow my directions, it'll be less likely that happens, because that's not something that really occurs to me. So once I'm out of bounds here, once I'm kind of done dragging to the right, I kind of got my camera as out of bounds as I possibly can, still holding fast brush. I'm holding my analog stick to the right, and I'm tilting my camera down here so that it starts kind of going up a little bit. So maybe check the input viewer. I'll end up doing this a couple more times throughout the video, of course. This particular technique is working really well for me so that my camera does not clip back in bounds. And basically what we're trying to accomplish with that maneuver is we're trying to stay out of bounds with our camera, but we're trying to raise it above the floor. We have to first go under the floor to get out of bounds, and then we need to get back above the floor here. And that's so we can, we have to go way up there. So we have to start by getting our camera out from under the floor, and then we'll be able to drag it up to get to that position. So this is all meant to be kind of one quick movement, so feel free to check the input viewer and kind of follow along the best you can. Going down, neutral, down. We're going under the floor, we're kind of going to the right. I'm rebrushing, going to the right as much as possible, and then I'm tilting the camera in a way while dragging like right upright so that I'm coming up above the floor. So the last part here is, it'll get easier with practice. What we're going to be doing is basically gliding our brush. So something that can happen in brush adventures is your brush is able to glide. And how this works is kind of hard to explain and really can't be explained very well. But the gist of it is, if your camera is pointing a certain way in relation to Amaterasu, sometimes it'll just let you glide forever. Occasionally it does get stuck. Usually when it does get stuck, this is going to be because some like weird way based on how your character is located in the relation to the direction you're brushing. So after I get above ground here, typically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking like a little bit downward so that my brush is dragging a little bit more towards where I'm going. And I don't really have like a particular landmark or anything I look at. I just kind of know where it is I'm going, and I know how to get there. So maybe just practice this a couple times. You can maybe use my camera, how it's looking as I'm doing this, as a reference to start. But ultimately, I just kind of recommend getting a feel for where your camera is going and kind of understanding how you have to move in order to get it to go that way. So I kind of just know where I'm going. I have to go past this, it's further than that, and it's going to be a little bit to the right. And then once I'm close enough, this was called the BA snap. It's a brush adventure snap where you basically snap your camera in bounds. It's not really used for any other trick but this one. And basically the way it works is when you drag your camera a far distance, sometimes you're able to rebrush and your camera will snap in bounds. So this is something we can use to our advantage here. And rather than dragging our brush all the way to the cursed patch we're going to, we can drag it most of the way there, and then we will be able to snap it in bounds. So let's talk about like getting it stuck a bit. So you can see if I turn my camera certain ways, it should get stuck. So like here, it's not moving, even though I'm holding a direction. If I turn it this way, now it moves. Stuck, move, yeah? So you will have to struggle with this a little bit. Sometimes you might be like, I'm moving my camera all over the place and it doesn't move. This is one of the difficulties of learning the trick, is just getting an idea of where your camera can move and where your camera doesn't want to move, and just kind of understanding how to drag all the way to the cursed patch we're going for. So here I'll just do it like basically if I were doing it in a run here. So this is just doing it one time really quick here. I got stuck, I tilted it a little bit up again, and now it's working. And then once it's kind of here, you just put this little dome area where the cursed patch is in the center of your screen and rebrush, and it'll snap in bounds. From here, you just bloom it. So I'll do one more here, just a final, see what happens. I think I've covered basically everything I wanted to cover with this video. We're going under, we're going over, we're tilting the camera. This one's going a little bit weird, and we're back up. And then I'm kind of finagling my camera to get it gliding the way I want. Now I'm going a direction I'm happy with. And then once I'm nice and close, which this was a great drag here, I'm very close, put it in the center of my screen, rebrush here. And then from here, all you have to do, you bloom the patch, which maybe I don't even have the power to bloom right now because of this file, but you would bloom the patch, and I'll just teleport myself over there for instructional purposes. You bloom the patch there, and it's that cutscene will teleport you to the location of the patch. And basically, what this does is this allows you to escape that little cave in the tunnel where the guardian sapling is. You teleport you here, and you would be able to basically just leave through the mermaid spring, and you don't have to do the Waka one fight, which is blocking your exit from the tunnel. So I guess just to clarify, for anybody who maybe doesn't know, I'll just go trigger this fight really quickly. If I don't have bloom, I should certainly have this fight here. Maybe I don't. Okay, well I look like a fool. I guess it's probably because I don't think I ever actually bloomed Agata Forest. I just teleported here. But normally, right when you would walk out of the cave here, where the guardian sapling is, you would immediately get into a combat encounter. And you can skip that by doing the brush adventure I showed you. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in comments or on Discord or whatever. And good luck with the trick. Try to kind of follow the concepts I used if they're helpful to you, and check out the input viewer if you're confused about some of the details of the maneuvers I'm doing there. And happy speedrunning.